Good morning, Dave.
Good morning, madame.
Good morning, world.
Yes, indeed, yes. It's blooming pouring down right here. Bobbing there.
Wait, it was sunny and like hella hot last week. Now it's pouring down rain.
Yeah, horrible. Absolutely. But what's it like there in Colorado this morning, apart from pitch black?
Yeah, pitch black, and we've had a cold front as well. We had rain the last 3 days. So I don't know what's going on. There must be some sort of shift in our global warming.
Not good. Not good.
Not good.
So what's on the agenda today? What's on the menu?
What's on the menu today? So being a well-being and empowerment coach, I get the privilege of helping people navigate change. And I know last couple weeks ago, you and I talked about the 5 elements of successful change. So when we get to decide what we want to change, then there's like strategies and tactics that we can use to help ourselves propel through the change. Today, I wanted to touch base on what happens when we aren't the decision makers and we are pulled in all different kinds of directions and pulled apart by certain circumstances. So what we tend to do as human beings is we tend to say things like, oh, why is this happening to me? Why is this is such a horrible thing? Why is this happening to me? And what that statement does for us is it disempowers us. It places us in that victim role. And I think that we all sometimes feel comfort in that role, which is interesting. And we put up barriers, we shut down, we disconnect from friends and family. We get judgmental, we get defensive. And so there are ways that we can work through this. And so today I wanted to talk a little bit about how we do that. So if you think about change is always going to happen. No matter where you are in the world and what you do, change happens because we're ever evolving human beings. And I like to look at change as like a continuous quality improvement. And it's not really like kind of maybe look at change as a bad word almost, just because there's so much stigma behind the word. So we could either dig our heels in and fight the change and put meanings on change that don't make sense with the situation. Things like making stuff up in our head, which we tend to do. I call it my crappy first draft because we don't have all the facts. So we start making stuff up in our head as we're going through this change. And like, why would we choose to suffer when we could really work through that in a little bit more meaningful way? So we shift our mindset a bit and change the actual language that we're using. I think I talked about that a little bit too, maybe the first couple of weeks I was on, about how powerful language can be. So if we change our language from this is happening to me to this is happening for me, it shifts the meaning for us a little bit. Does that make sense, Dave? Am I rambling on, or are you following?
I'm following more than you realize.
Awesome. I'm so excited. Okay. So if we change it to this is happening for me, we put ourselves in a mindset of growth. We put ourselves in a mindset of opportunities. We set our ego aside, which is a big one. And I think that when I say that to people, they go, ego? Well, I don't have an ego. Well, we all have one, and it's not a bad thing. I think sometimes it sort of takes over and it can rule the roost, if you will. I don't know if that's a saying over there, but it will rule your world. And sometimes you come off kind of like a jerk. So we have to check our ego a little bit. And if we're in that place of things are happening to me, our ego likes to take over. So again, shifting that to things are happening for me. And this empowers us rather than disempowers us. And it busts down those barriers. And I think I talked about that even in our personal changes that we're making, that we get to decide. There's always barriers, but if you can come from a place of curiosity, and I'm going to talk about that in a little bit, then you can really start busting down those barriers, make those connections with people that are meaningful, and you can change the way you're looking at this change, quote unquote, and work through it in a little bit easier way and sort of ease that pain of suffering. And I had an interesting conversation with somebody the other day about pain, and the question was, is there really pain in change, or is it actually, like the example that he used was, if you're losing someone, then it's not really the pain of change, it's the pain of losing someone. Well, yes and no. And I think that we get into that space of just that victim role where we're feeling really defeated and we can't see anything other than that really awful feeling, which is really just the change of not having that someone around. So again, we have this opportunity to shift that thinking. And so the question is, how do we do that? And I would like to touch base on that about a few seconds after we play our first song. How does that sound, Dave?
Sounds good to me.
Okay, we're going to play Charlotte Church's Call My Name.
You're listening live to Christine Saunders this morning in Colorado. And me.
Dave, I love it when you call my name.
I know. I'm like that with the post lady. She likes my name being shouted out. Monsieur,
oh my God,
Monsieur, like flaming. What now? And she's like, I've got the birthday for you. I've got the birthday. And every time she blooming turns up, if it's a parcel, I have to sign for it. If it's a letter, I don't know what it is about her, but she can't get a thing in the letterbox. She hasn't read the instructions on how to actually get a letter through the actual. What do you call it? What do you call it? The bit where
a mail slot?
Yeah, one of them. I know there's translate. This is where we need a UK American dictionary, because obviously you call it something completely different.
Right. There's a lot of those things. Can you believe that there's over 74,000 people listening to the all-day special today?
Yes, I can, because
I know.
That's a drop in the ocean for us. There's more to come.
There's absolutely more to come. The new website is fantastic. Oh my gosh. Gotta go check it out.
Yeah, it looks frightening. That makes me look good for a change. Scare me to death.
Oh my goodness. So let's keep going. I have a little bit more content to get through, and then we'll play another song, and we'll get through some contact information, and we'll go about the day. So how do we do this? How do we take control and come from a place of curiosity? So I said that before. So what does it really mean to come from a place of curiosity? Are you thinking, what the heck is that? Well, you're already there. So you're coming from that place of inquisitive mindset. It's really getting to a fact-finding mission, if you will. It's gathering those facts. So again, like, we don't make up those stories in our head, because most of the times without those facts, they're false. So asking ourselves some intelligent questions, I think, is the best place to start. So some of those could be like, what can I do for myself? Or what can I do for the people around me that are maybe going through the same change as well? And I think about an example of a change that's happening that you're not really in control of, is it could be a career change, or it could be a job change within a company that you're working for. And this is really it happens every day, all day long. People's jobs change, but they still have jobs, but they have to adapt. So what can I do to make it easier? And then really what this statement is, what's happening for me, it puts us in a place of looking at opportunities rather than looking at the doom and gloom. So ultimately, we want to get to that place of where we can get to that question of, find the good in the situation. What's good about this situation? And sometimes people are like, what are you talking about? There's nothing good about this. Well, there's something good in everything if you approach it from a mindset of things are happening for me. So going back to that, what does it look like to be curious? And I'm not talking about Curious George, the monkey, but I kind of am. He's like this cute little monkey who's like curious about everything in a very non-judgmental way. He shows up really authentic and honest. his communication is a little iffy because he's, a wonky, right? But he has more inclusion. He feels more connected. He's opening his world to more and finding those solutions. He really doesn't have an ego, and he welcomes the curiosity in others as well. So if you can, come at it as a team effort and looking at these places and situations that are happening, you can, shift that pain that people associate with change, the bad word, and actually make it into something really awesome. So we can set goals, and I know there's some words out there in the business world like change agent, which is fine, and embrace the possibilities and become what I like to call a SME. Yes, Dave, it's a word that you're going to learn today, a SME.
SME? What's that? I've heard that. I thought we were going, so I thought I was getting ready for a doctor's surgery then when you went well, where are we going with this?
A SME, S-M-E, is a subject matter expert.
Is it?
Yes.
Go for that.
Yeah. So you could be a subject matter expert yourself, Dave.
Joking.
But if you put yourself in that place of, I want to learn about the change and I want to know about the change and I want to, embrace this change and move this change along instead of digging my heels in, being a subject matter expert, you can sort of control that a little bit more for you and for the others that are around you. And then, of course, you can ease that pain of change. And then, of course, you have to celebrate with song and dance and all those fun things, and do that with the people around you, and they will see that. They'll be like, wow, why is Saunders so excited about this change that we all think is so awful? And then you can help shift their mindsets as well. So that's really sort of in those businessy type of situations. The personal stuff is really gathering those tribe of people that you rely on, that you trust, to sort of help you in these places as well. So, we have to get to that place of this is happening for me and not to me. And I actually say that to myself pretty much on an ongoing basis, because there's so much change and so much innovation and so much planning going on in our world that we have to, otherwise we'll just roll into this place of just being unhappy. And I think I was listening to the show yesterday with Kimberly, and she was talking about how people, and you guys were talking about how people are walk around this world just unhappy, and we don't have to do that if we shift our mindset just a little bit. So I want to celebrate with another song, and I want to celebrate with Casey and the Sunshine Band, Give It Up, on All Day Special with Dave Hillwood and me, Chris Saunders.
Give it up.
Oh, wow.
Give it up, get off me bread.
That's so funny, because I too was just singing, and I thought, oh my God, if the dog could hear me, she'd be howling. That would be nuts.
I was thinking exactly the same thing, but I remembered my ex-girlfriend isn't here anymore, so that's another story.
Oh, dang.
Hey, boom, get that one in. Anyway.
Dang. Oh my gosh. So we'll wrap it up. I know we don't have much time. So the cool thing about this whole change thing is I have a change guide that I want to give to the listeners. So if they want to email me, I will get that out to them as soon as the publisher gets it done. And my email is Christine, CHRISTINE, @followyourwholeheart.com. And in the subject line, just put guide, and I'll know what you want, and I will send that out to you. I promise I won't spam you. I'm not a spammer. And
Have
so if you're interested in that.
Have you been called a spammer in the past?
I have not been called a spammer.
You never put a spammer in the works?
No.
No? Well, there you
go. So I promise I won't spam you, but it's a really good guide on just some of these suggestions. And it's not only for, us as human beings, but it's also for leaders and companies. It's really a simple thing that I've developed that just goes through the change process in a really simple, thoughtful way that is successful across the globe and through these changes. So follow me on Instagram, Follow Your Whole Heart, on Facebook, Chris Saunders, and I want to do this again next week, Dave.
Don't we all? That's many a thing you've said to a man in the past.
Well, I don't know. It's been a while.
I need to lie down now. I'm just going to put a pillow in the fridge again.
Oh my God! What was the pillow in the fridge thing?
I have no idea.
What was yesterday?
It's something about. Apparently, it's an old Victorian thing about putting a piece of material in your larder so you become, you have a comfortable lifestyle and all that carry on in the future. But then it's evolved to actually putting a pillow on top of your fridge, and then someone evolved it into putting the pillow in the fridge and falling asleep on one of the shelves on it.
Yeah, I don't have any words.
So when you wake up and you got dairy products around your face, it's a hell of a shock. So I'll speak to you next week, madame.
Sounds like an awesome plan. Have a great week.
Bonne journée. Au revoir.
Bye.